Are you getting frustrated with what to feed a teenager who's always hungry? Everybody knows that teenagers have a huge appetite. It seems like you need to feed them constantly to satisfy their hunger. It's even more difficult where teenagers who struggle with their weight truly want to make changes, like cut down on junk food or stop overeating, and they can't. There's frustration, isolation, stress, and that's why I decided to create a recipe collection of 30 easy and healthy meals for teenagers. They're all high in protein to satisfy your teenager's hunger, and they can all be ready in less than 30 minutes. If you want to grab a free copy, go to lifestyleforteens.com/recipes.
This is the Lifestyle and Weight Loss for Teens podcast. If you're a mom and want to help your child who is struggling to lose weight, you are in the right place. If you are looking for healthy lifestyle tips, Dr. Gourgari is here to help you understand the science around safe weight loss in teens and children. Because what works for adult weight loss is not always the best for children. This podcast is for educational purposes only. Dr. Gourgari does not provide medical, psychological, or nutrition therapy advice. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat any health problems without consulting your own medical practitioner. And now, your host, Dr. Jenny Gourgari.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Lifestyle and Weight Loss for Teens podcast. This is Dr. Jenny Gourgari. And on today's episode, I'm going to answer a question that I get asked a lot from families and teenagers when they're trying to get into a healthier weight. We hear a lot how teenagers need to have enough protein. And the question is, how much protein does my teenager need? Where can I get this protein from? And is this real? This protein craziness, like why is this protein so important? And does it matter if I just have the same amount of calories, but I have more from fat and carbohydrates versus proteins? So that's the questions I'm going to try to answer today to this episode. So according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, the teenagers need, in general, different amounts of protein depending on what their age is. And because I'm focusing on teenagers, I will just give you the ballpark. On average, teenager girls between the ages of 9 to 18 require approximately 46 grams of protein every day, and boys between 9 to 13 years of age require 34 grams of protein, and boys between 14 and 18 years require 52 grams of protein per day. Now, this is just a general rule. However, not all teenagers that are 14 years are the same height and the same weight. Not all teenagers have the same level of activity. Some teenagers are very involved in sports. They are in competitive soccer or competitive swimmers or competitive gymnastics or dancing and volleyball, while others are more sedentary. And obviously the teenagers that have more higher athletic performance, higher demands for protein, need higher requirements than this general rule. Okay. So another way, therefore, to calculate that is by using the average amount of protein per kilogram of body weight. Now, if you convert the pounds to kilograms and then you multiply by 0.85, that will give you the amount of protein based on weight. So, for example, if there is a teenager that weighs 110 pounds, 110 pounds equals to multiply by 0.445 equals to 50 kilograms. Now, 50 kilograms multiplied by 0.85, that's 42.5 grams of protein per day. That will give you a ballpark of what is the recommended in general amount of protein based on the weight. Now, as I said, if we have teenagers that are very physically active, then we can add a little more to that. And the range can be from 1.2 up to even 2 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein if they are very, very, very athletic and very active. Now, the question also is, where can I get this protein from? Now, obviously, a lot of people think that protein equals meat, which is true. There's a lot of protein in meat. However, there's a lot of other plant-based sources where you can get protein and also get, along with that, fiber and vitamins. So, a few examples of foods that are very high in protein include chicken, fish, beef, pork. Those are like the meat based options. Other very good sources of protein include legumes, like for example, lentils are very high in protein, and you can enjoy lentils in soups and stews or in salads. Chickpeas is another very good source of protein. You can use it in when it's in hummus. You can use it roasted as a snack. You can use it in salads. And beans are also high in protein. Like for example, black beans or kidney beans or pinto beans are perfect to add in a burrito or with rice. They add that extra protein. Also, another high protein legume is edamame. So these are basically young soya beans. You can just microwave it, add a little salt, add a little butter or margarine or olive oil, and you have a tasty snack or in salads to add extra protein. And of course, dairy products like Greek yogurt, cheese can have, or soya milk can have also protein. Eggs is another great source of protein. And in terms of whole grains, some options of whole grains include quinoa that you can use in salad bowls. You can use it as a rice substitute. You can use farro and barley. You can put it in the oven to make it a little crispier. And oats. Oats are great for breakfast. I have a previous episode where I talk about which breakfast is better and how oatmeal compares to cornflakes. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't listened to it. But oat is a great source of protein and also gives a lot of satisfaction, and you can decrease the sense of hunger for many hours after you have breakfast with oats. Now, also, another source of healthy protein is nuts and seeds. So, almonds, walnuts, cashews, chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. You can also add them to make smoothies. You can put them in salads. You can put them in, you can make granola with them. And they're very healthy. That also have healthy fats that also, along with the protein, can make you feel full and not as hungry very quickly. Now, some of the vegetables that can also have high protein include, for example, broccoli or Brussels sprouts or spinach and kale. You can also have roasted or put it in salads and things like that. And of course, there are some protein powders, and some of them are plant-based protein powders where they have brown rice protein powder, pea protein powder, and those can be healthier because they, compared to the other ones that can have more fiber in them. However, in general, I know there are some teenagers that prefer to get their protein mainly from protein shakes and smoothies. And I will say if I had to choose between whole food that has protein, like any one of the other options, like for example, just have 3 eggs versus having a processed powder, protein powder, it's probably better to go for healthy food that is actual real food and avoid the processed food. The reason is because when you're using protein powders as substitute for protein that comes from real food, along with the protein, you get other things that are in this processed powders. So you can have extra sugar, you can have extra artificial sweeteners, you can have extra other things that really are not regulated by the FDA. It's hard to know what is in that specific protein powder. Whereas if you have the actual food, you know you're getting healthier option. It's whole food. And our bodies are meant to process whole foods. They're not meant to process artificial protein. And if you cannot meet your protein requirements, is it bad? I would say, I'm not really saying never use any protein powder, but my recommendation would be to try to avoid it if you can have a healthier alternative of protein by using actual food. And finally, another question I'd like to address is, why is protein important? Why can we just have a specific amount of calories that is based on carbohydrates? And why can we just have 3 meals of pasta, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and get the calories that we need? So actually, protein is very, very important, particularly in teenagers. The reason is because teenage year is of the time of the development where we build muscles and we build bones, and a lot of growth happens during this time. Like kids go into growth spurt. So protein is an essential part of nutrition that helps build your muscles and helps build your bones. Now, it doesn't mean that if you eat excess amount of protein, you will get more muscles. What develops the muscles is your movement, your exercise. You build strong muscles by exercising. But if you don't have the protein that your muscles need while you're exercising, then you're not going to get the full benefit of the exercise. It's like the nutrient that your muscles need. It's not by itself enough, but it is necessary. So growth is very, very important during puberty, and that's why protein is also particularly important during this period. Also, during puberty, there is a surge of hormones. There is like testosterone in boys, estradiol in girls, there's insulin, there's growth hormone. There's a lot of hormones going on and a lot of enzymes that are important for this development of hormones. And by getting the essential amino acids, which is what proteins are constituted from, then you ensure that you can have the hormone production better regulated. Again, it's not this that is creating the hormones by itself, but it is necessary. It's like the nutrient that your body is needing. And also, it is, of course, a source of energy. Like if you don't have enough carbohydrates, which is the source that is for immediate energy, then your body can also break down protein to use it for energy for your everyday activities. And for those teenagers that are involved in sports or they're exercising, it is important for the repair of the muscles after you do exercise. So if you have some protein after you do exercise, that helps avoid the muscle breakdown from the activity. Protein is also important for the development of healthy skin, hair, and nails. So that can boost your appearance, that can make you more confident, because it is very important. And of course, it does help with the satiety. So if you, for example, have, let's say, plain carbohydrates versus having carbohydrates plus protein, you are more likely to not be hungry for a prolonged period of time. And that is because when you add protein to your meal, that decreases the insulin surge. So instead of having huge surges from carbohydrates alone, you have slower insulin spike when you add protein. Therefore, your metabolism is better, your insulin resistance is better, and you can, as I said, build healthier muscles, and having healthier muscles also increases your metabolism. So these are all important reasons why protein is important for teenagers. So far we covered how much protein teenagers need. I talked about what are some sources of protein that you can use, and also why do we need protein. So as I end this episode, my question to you is, how much protein do you need? If you're a teenager, or if you're a family that has a teenager, you can make the calculations, get an estimate, and then look at the diary, create a diary of how much, what are you eating, and look whether you're within this ballpark of protein intake. And if you don't meet that protein intake, then make a plan with possible scenarios of how you could sneak in some protein, extra protein, whether it could be just adding a few lentils with a salad, or edamame, or adding eggs, or adding salmon, or just think about where you can add a little bit of protein in your daily meals so that you meet your protein requirements. That's all I had for you for today. Again, if you are interested in working with me in the future when I open my program for enrollment, you can go to my website, lifestyleforteens.com/work, and you can fill out the form, and I will make sure to you when I'm ready to open for enrollment. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, I invite you to come check out the LIFT program. It's Dr. Gourgari's 12-week coaching program for teens and their moms, where we take all this information, we apply it to your daily life, and we work together so your teenager learns how to create a healthy lifestyle so they can feel happier, more confident, less stressed, and love their body again. Visit the website at lifestyleforteens.com and click on the Work With Me and free resources to learn more about this program and get free help to start this journey right away. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lifestyle and Weight Loss for Teens.